helpful. Okay, think about where you're going to want to use this in your world. Write down for yourself, I want to be able to focus here, so I will use my connection there. I mean, where is here for you? Where would focus come in handy? Now, for those of you who don't know me really well, I will just mention that I own businesses that I do with my partner. And my guy, Mark, is the poster child for ADD. Okay, now this is the diagnosis in the world according to Jackie. He's never had a doctor tell me this, but I was reading books like Delivered from Distraction and things like that, and reading him pieces out of it, and he was going, what, did they follow me around when I was a kid? Yeah, he was the kid in elementary school that got the job of running the notes to the principal's office because, you know, otherwise he couldn't sit still, and so they would be happily kick him out of class. Yeah, absolutely brilliant, but not so easy for me to work around, because if we're trying to share an office, let me tell you what distraction looks like. And then I figured it out, that when I could stay calm, when I could stay focused, there's such a thing called resonance. Resonance is vibration. The more focused I became, the more focused he became. I wasn't trying to change him, but as I changed, our work environment changed. So just so you'll know, the benefits of doing this kind of work and training go beyond you. Because as you get calm and centered, as you clean up the trash out of your own head and your energy lightens up, everybody around you is going to be pulled into that with you. Okay, it's absolutely lovely. And so, hi. Good, you got it, Luann? Okay, so, is it a break time? Is that what you're telling me?
If that's what you like.
Well, you know, anybody got a question about focus and distraction? And if not, then we'll take a break. All right, there we go. Congratulations, ladies. Refreshed and rested and relaxed and focused. You want some water? You got it? We're good? Okay, cool. So you can stand if it's more comfortable for you. I just, now that we're all back, and it was a lot of fun. So that was fun. The next part of today is about effective decision making. Now, Napoleon Hill. Everybody know of Napoleon Hill? Think and Grow Rich. Very famous man. Spent decades interviewing successful businessmen of the day to record that knowledge. That's what he's famous for. He is less known for the fact that he was interviewed about why businesses fail. He said they fail for 3 reasons. The first one is the inability of the business owner to get along with other people. Okay, number 1 reason the businesses fail. The inability of the business owner to get along with other people, customers, employees, didn't matter. Now, just back to that first exercise we did about relaxation and calm, you now have the key to being able to be easier to get along with. So we have cured that one. We don't have to worry about that one anymore. The second reason businesses fail, according to Napoleon Hill, is the inability of the business owner to stick with the business when times get tough. And if you are in business for yourself, times are going to get tough. It is a reality. Ladies, the second thing we did a few minutes ago on focus is your key to surviving that particular hurdle, because now you have the ability to put your focus on your goal, not on your obstacles. And if you can keep your focus on what you want, you will be able to find the solutions when the stuff you don't want shows up. So we've covered 2 out of the 3. The third reason that businesses fail, according to Napoleon Hill, is the inability of the business owner to make effective decisions quickly. Main cause of business failure. So we're going to go into effective decision making. The easiest way to make a decision is to have already made it in advance. Here's an example. Little old lady moving into an assisted living. Luann, you're going to like this story. Okay. So, going to move into an assisted living facility, little apartment in this building. She's in the waiting room, the reception area of the building, and one of the staff members, one of the ladies who works there comes over and says, how you look very happy, how do you like it here? And the lady says, I absolutely love it here. I love my new home. And the lady who works there says, but darling, you haven't seen it yet. And she says, it doesn't matter. I already decided that I love it. Oh. We have the ability to pre-make decisions. We can do this. Easier if you have a framework. So I'm going to help you understand how frameworks go. All right, Jackie gets to tell another story. Here we go. You ready? This is called the ballpark theory. It is not a Jackie original. Okay, some of the others are originals. This is not. The credit for this goes to a lady named Dr. Zanya. Dr. Zanya is a motivational speaker, and I had the great privilege of being in a workshop with her about 20 years ago, and I heard this story and fell in love with it. If you're not a baseball fan, bear with me. Okay, you'll find humor in this anyway, and something of value. There's a young ball player. He is being called up from the minors. He's going to the show. He's going to play for the Atlanta Braves. This kid is so excited. Everybody, and I do mean everybody on that airplane, knows that he's going to the show. He gets off the plane in Atlanta. He gets in a cab. Cab driver, take me to the stadium. No, I don't care that there's no game. I got to go to the show. He's walking around the stadium, and there are pictures of famous ball players, and there are trophies, and then he sees, forgive me, he sees God. It's the park owner. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. You're going to be so glad that you hired me and that you brought me up, and I'm going to play ball for you. And the kid is just about as wild as he can be. The ballpark owner says, son, I'm glad you're happy to be here. Why don't you come into my office and we'll have a chat? We'll get acquainted. Oh, yeah, that'll be great. I'll follow you. You can imagine a big floppy dog. I'll follow you anyway. We're just happening. They get into the ballpark owner's office. The ballpark owner sits down. The kid goes to sit in a chair, and he is so excited. He just cannot get his assets to stay in the park owner. Son, why don't you read these? And he slides a few pieces of paper across his desk. These are the rules of the ballpark. Oh yeah, no problem. I can. And the kid starts to settle down, starts to read. By the time he gets to the second page, he's got this kind of wrinkle right here. And when he gets done, he looks up at the park owner. He says, I don't like some of these rules. And the park owner says, son, you have three choices. Option one, you can accept the rules of the ballpark without conflict. You can play ball, probably make really good money, have a great life. Option two, you can accept the rules of the ballpark with conflict. You can hate coming to work, argue about everything, feel like a victim. You will still play ball. You might even make good money, but you will not be happy. Option three, you can get out of my ballpark. Whoa. Just got here, don't want to leave. What were those first two options? Option one, accept the rules of the ballpark without conflict. Option two, accept the rules of the ballpark with conflict. Choice is yours. Rules are not going to change. When things are laid out that clearly, are decisions easy to make? Okay. Ballpark theory changed my life. I was in my 30s. I had young children. A light bulb went off. When I took my young family and went to visit my mama, whose ballpark was I in? What were my choices? Accept the rules without conflict, accept the rules with conflict, or stay out of her ballpark, which had never dawned on me as an option before, because my mama. I realized that I could choose. And so I started accepting the rules without conflict. It's my mom's house, it's my mom's rules. I know what the rules are. So I started prepping my kids as we're driving down the road. You know, we're going to grandma's. These are the rules at grandma's house. These are the rules we're going to follow. Life changing as far as my relationship with my mama. She really loved this. And then the other light bulb went off. When my mama comes to visit me, whose ballpark is she in? My entire adult life up until that point, my mother would come to visit and I would change to match her rules. Drove my husband at the time crazy, made my kids miserable, and the only person who was fairly happy about this was Mama. I stopped, and it looked like this. Mom, I'm glad you're here, and yes, I know you prefer to have breakfast at 10, but we have breakfast at 8:30. Would you like oatmeal or eggs? Mama, I know that you would rather do this, but at this time on this day, our family does this. Would you like to sit here or there? An amazing thing happened. With zero conflict, my mother made the choice to stay out of my ballpark. Life got really good. I would go to visit her a lot more often because there was no conflict when I was at her house. Everybody knew the rules, it was good. And she never came to visit me. We're not going to go with the dynamics that occurred after that, but it worked out really, really well for us. Where else in your life does the ballpark theory apply? Think about where in your life you have spent a lot of time, talent, and maybe a significant amount of treasure working on a decision that wasn't yours to make. Whose ballpark are you in is a very powerful question. Whose decision is it? Because if you've got the framework of whose ballpark you're in, there's a lot of decisions that you don't have to make. And there's a lot of decisions that you can make in advance. You can choose in advance that you're going to accept the rules without conflict if you're in somebody else's ballpark. Life changing. Where else can you use this? Oh, by the way, we have a Stump the Ballpark contest. If you can come up with a scenario where this does not apply, okay? My sister thought she had me stumped. See, she had the college professor from hell who gave her a failing grade on a paper because of the way that she had not used capitals where he wanted capitals and things like that. And she's like, the ballpark theory doesn't apply to this. And I'm like, oh yeah, it does. Whose ballpark do you think you're in? What are your three options? Accept without conflict, accept with conflict, or get out of the class. Get out of that guy's ballpark. It so happened he was the only professor at that school that taught that particular class that she needed, so she really had two viable options. She could have just left that college and gone to another one, but she didn't think that was reasonable. So, where else does this play out? The big challenge is when you are at home and you are not the only person on the mortgage, not the only person on the title, you're in a shared ballpark. Happens a lot in businesses. When you are not the only business owner, okay, I get two hands on this one, then you're in a shared ballpark. It's a really good idea at that point to figure out how to divvy up the ballpark. You get the final say as the batting coach, I get the final say as the running coach. You get the final say as the offensive coach, I get the final say as the defensive coach. It's a good conversation to have so that in the little areas, you know who's going to make the decision.